Okay, so these are the release notes for Stammer version 1.20.0. And we're just going to jump right into it because this is a massive release. And this is actually our largest release since probably we launched the product. And this is also going to be our last release, most likely of the year, since this is Christmas Eve and I'm recording this. But let's jump right into it. So one thing I do want to mention that we got out is we did fix the edge case. And let me show you if I have an example. I don't have a ready-to-go conversation example, but there was an edge case that was happening occasionally where when the chatbot was giving back appointment times that could be scheduled, there was an edge case that occasionally would happen where it would have a weird time in there, like 12:52 instead of 1 p.m. or 12:30, a nice kind of round time. So that edge case has been fixed. But as always, let us know if you see any issues at all with that. Now, another thing that we added was for leads and scheduling. Many of you wanted to get simply a notification email with the data in that email rather than having to set up a webhook and go through the complexity of doing that. So we have enabled that. You can go in here, click Enable Lead Collection Email Notification, put your email in there, and then you will get an email. Same thing for scheduling. Let us know if you need this added for anything else because we can obviously send emails all day long. Now, another small thing that we did get out with this release that I want to mention is we added a scroll bar for the conversation starters. Now, already many of you have also asked, is it possible to stack these rather than having a scroll bar? So most likely it is, but we are looking into that. So we will keep you informed on the status of that. Now, of course, the biggest thing in this release in many ways is the marketplace. So the marketplace is live today. You can go in, view it, and clone the chatbots that are in it. Now, this is only temporary, but there is one bot in there right now. So we're going to be adding more. This is the appointment scheduling bot for Notifier.so. Remember, Notifier is an older product of ours that's focused on finding leads on social media. That's what most people use it for. But this is a bot that we built for it in order to answer questions for the user about Notifier, but also to prompt them to schedule an appointment to learn more about the product. So you can go in here now. We're going to be adding more bots, like I said, but you can go in here now, clone this into your account, play with it. You can see the base system prompt that I've created, and it can really give you great ideas about how to, create your own base system prompts, or you can even just take it and slightly modify it, right? One thing I do want to show you quickly about this base system prompt, because this is very important, and I've been surprised by how well this works. If I go into the base system prompt, you see this example conversation. Well, and one thing that I've mentioned, we've mentioned this many times in the office hours that we do, the weekly office hours, but notice I'm using Markdown here to kind of give some structure. And that is very, very helpful for just organizing your base system prompt and helping give some additional context to ChatGPT. So notice that I'm using Markdown here. But also beyond that, I've now added an example conversation. And this works incredibly well for explaining to the chatbot, explaining to ChatGPT how you want the conversation to flow. And so I just gave a completely example conversation here in here of what I want it to do, and it works incredibly well this way. So I wanted to mention that. It's an approach you can use. It works very, very well. Now, one thing I should mention about the marketplace is when you clone a chatbot from the marketplace, all the knowledge base data goes with that chatbot. So if you have scheduling enabled, that doesn't go with it. It doesn't connect your account or anything like that. But everything in the knowledge base will go into the marketplace with that chatbot. So if you were to clone the Notifier chatbot, you're going to see that I actually only have one page added to the knowledge base because I'm scraping an FAQ page. And that is another thing I should actually mention. I'm going to be making some videos on this about effective web scraping. We already have one video in here. If I go to knowledge base and then website, it says here, we're trying to prompt you all to watch this video about effective web scraping. And actually that's a typo there that we'll have to correct. But basically, we've seen that a lot of you, understandably, will scrape an entire website, right? Expecting that it will just take all that data and just know what to do. Now, the problem is a lot of websites have a lot of useless information, right? And these chatbots are only as good as the data that you give them. So what I've started doing is I just have one dedicated page with all the Q&A that I want the chatbot to know. And that page is well formatted. It has all the answers in there, all the questions a customer may ask. And so that's what I use. That's the best approach, is to give it only clean, good data. Now, of course, one page may not work for you. You may need to do several or maybe even more, but just make sure overall that the data you're feeding into the chatbot is well formatted and, of course, accurate. A lot of web pages have older data that may not be accurate. So always keep that in mind. Now, we are going to be soon adding some features in Q1 to make this easier for you. We're going to actually be using ChatGPT itself to help us and help you format the data that it's getting from the websites. So stay tuned for that. That's coming sometime in Q1. Okay, and now let's talk about the other major improvement that we got out in this release. And this is going to be hard to describe in some ways. I probably should have made a diagram for this, but we made massive improvements to the knowledge base functionality. And all new chatbots that are created should be using this. Let us know if you have any issues or you want to use this for an older chatbot. Okay, and so the reason we didn't turn this on for the older existing chatbots, unless they hadn't modified their base system prompt, is because if you got your chatbot up and running perfectly, we didn't want to change the knowledge base approach that we're using right out from under you if you've made modifications to the base system prompt and it's working well for you. But essentially what we've done is, before, our knowledge base approach was that we were always dumping the results from the knowledge base search into the prompts or into the message that we send ChatGPT. That was the old approach. Now, though, we're actually using ChatGPT itself and giving it direct access to the knowledge base, or more direct access. ChatGPT now has the ability and the functionality to actually choose to search the knowledge base when it wants to. And so depending on what you put in your base system prompt can affect when it calls the knowledge base. Now, by default, it's going to call the knowledge base at all times, and especially when it doesn't have an answer to a question. It will then look at the knowledge base quickly, summarize the results, and return a response to the user. That's the basic functionality there. But what this allows us to do is allow us to leverage the intelligence of ChatGPT to know when to access and use the knowledge base. And we're no longer having to do what I call polluting the prompt with the knowledge base. Now, what does this mean really? Well, it means the chatbots are going to function a lot better now, especially for scheduling. Every single time the appointment will be scheduled, appropriately, or there's something wrong with your base system prompt and you've modified it in some way, which if that happens, if it breaks and the appointment scheduling is not working for you, like I always say, open a ticket, we will help you get it fixed. But this has massively increased the reliability of the chatbots. So let us know feedback you have on that, certainly. Okay, and another thing we actually got out with this release is some of you have been complaining about the response time. Basically, the chatbot is taking too long or quite a while to form a response. And so we actually added some code that's going to help us profile those response times. And we've already done some early profiling, and we found that, as we expected, searching the knowledge base takes milliseconds. It's actually the responses from ChatGPT that are taking the longest to return a response. So we are now investigating some other ways we can help speed things up. We may be able to do some caching of responses. It's also possible that if you throw some stuff into the base system prompt and that's really key or something that's taking a long time, you can maybe put that information into the base system prompt if it's something more static. And that can also help speed up response times. But we will be looking into ways that we can continue to improve the user experience. One option we have is actually streaming the response from OpenAI. That is something they support. So the moment that response starts streaming from OpenAI, we can pass it on to the user possibly. And while that won't reduce the total amount of time to form the entire response, it will provide a better user experience because they'll start seeing the response instantly, if that makes sense. And it'll start scrolling out, streaming out that data. So we'll keep you all informed on that. But there's a lot of ways we can speed this thing up. But ultimately, the biggest driver of response time is ChatGPT. So we do have to wait for a response for them. Okay, let's see. Okay, and so another thing we actually got out is that we added a chatbot column to the transactions view, the transactions table here. So it'll show if it's a type of transaction that is associated with a chatbot. Some of them are not. Some of them are more account level. But if it is one that's specific to a chatbot, it will show which chatbot that transaction was for. So let us know if there are any questions on this. But that is out and now live. Okay, and another thing we actually got out is we changed the ordering of the collected leads information. So if you click here and you've collected lead data, it should now be ordered by date rather than before, I believe it was alphabetically. And that's important when you kind of go to export the CSV. So we did get that out. That is live. Okay, another thing we got out is you can now set your time zone in your account profile. Remember, this is user specific. Right now I have it set to UTC. And then what that will mainly affect right now is when you go into chatbots, my chatbots, and then if we view the conversations, this is where this will affect the time shown in the conversations. But this will make it easier for you to see the proper time it occurred based on your time zone. So let us know if there's any questions on this or if there's somewhere else we haven't thought of where we need this time zone information to reflect. Okay, and you can also now populate question and answer format data sources by uploading a CSV file. So you can come to the QA section, you can download an example CSV so you can see the format that it accepts, and then you can upload one and that will populate the QA. So let us know if there are any questions on this. And finally, in the conversations view now, so the results are now paginated, so it's not a massive amount that is just showing on the page. And also you can easily delete conversations that you're not interested in from within this user interface here. Okay, and now that's really it for the Stammer version 1.20.0 release. Now there were a ton of other things, little bug fixes and other infrastructure that we added in order to support future things that I don't want to get into right now. But as far as the future, what we're going to be focusing on at the beginning of the year with Stammer is just continuing to make it as easy as possible to get your chatbots to do what you want. So we're going to be adding a lot of example bots to the marketplace, like I already said. And if you have any issues getting your chatbot to do what you want it to do, like I said earlier in the video, reach out to us. We will help you. And finally, since it is Christmas Eve as I record this video and going to be Christmas tomorrow, we want to wish you all a happy holidays. 2023 has been an amazing year for the Stammer team. We did not fully expect, we hoped, of course, that it would blow up like it has, but we did not expect how much this thing has taken off, to be honest. And we can't wait for 2024. It's just amazing to me how many of you all are, getting your own customers at this point. So much so that we've, you told us about bugs in edge cases we didn't even know about that we had to quickly fix. So it's just amazing to be on this journey with you guys, helping us and us helping you as kind of your dev team. That's kind of the relationship we like here. This is, if you've seen my Twitter content, you probably know that my philosophy with building products is to really get involved with the customer. And this is the first time in my entire career that I think we are doing it truly as good as can be done. You guys join the office hours that we do. You're all active in the Discord, giving amazing feedback. And this is how I have always wanted to develop a software product from the ground up, directly in concert with your customers. And we're going to, of course, continue to do that in 2024. But overall, just thank you all for joining up with this and taking a risk on a new product. We will not let you down, and we will continue to take all of your feedback. So thank you all so much. And as always, when I always end these release notes videos, if you see any issues or anything at all, do not get upset. Just get involved, open a ticket, join our Discord, let us know about the issue. Or if it's a feature you want, let us know and we will get it prioritized. Thank you very much and have a happy holidays.